Have you ever wondered why are married women, the ones who seem to be protected by commitment, often the most emotionally vulnerable in today's world? Ironically, the ring on her finger, a symbol of love and safety, can become an invisible chain tightening around her emotions. She doesn't scream, she doesn't complain, but inside there's a quiet ocean of unmet expectations, unfulfilled desires, and a silent despair no one ever sees. Is this society forcing her to choose between stability and freedom? Or is the love she once trusted slowly turning into a beautiful cage? This video isn't here to blame or rant. It's here to reveal a bitter truth that must be spoken. Why do so many women after marriage find themselves fading away, feeling unseen, unheard, and heartbreakingly exposed? If you're a man, you need to understand. If you're a woman, you deserve to be heard. Seneca once said something that still chills the soul. No one is crushed by misfortune unless they were first deceived by prosperity. Harsh, maybe. True, absolutely. Especially for many married women today. On the outside, everything seems fine. A stable home, a husband, maybe even children. But inside, there's a silent war between what she longs for and what duty demands. Have you ever felt like you're living for everyone else, but forgetting yourself? It's not your fault. It's not weakness. It's the way society has trained women to give, to sacrifice, to serve. From a Stoic perspective, the real threat isn't your husband, your routine, or your circumstances. The real enemy is the lack of inner control. And when a woman ties her happiness to love, to approval, to being needed, she becomes breakable. Because those things are never permanent. How can you feel secure when your soul depends on someone who may not stay? Here's a brutal truth most people won't say out loud. Today, many women aren't truly loved. They're being exploited. They mistake comfort for control. They think they're safe, but what they're living in is emotional dependency. And when reality hits, the unmet dreams, the slow erosion of passion, the weight of passing years, they look for a way out. But the more they search outside, the more vulnerable they become. That's when the predators arrive. Not always a man. Sometimes it's a soft whisper from someone who wants control. Sometimes it's an ad that feeds on your insecurities. Sometimes it's social media, filling the silence with illusions and comparison. Are you truly free or just living in a golden cage built by someone else? Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be willing to be seen as foolish." The wise woman doesn't crave applause. She doesn't need fleeting validation. She stands firm because she knows who she is and why she refuses to break. Let's be clear, marriage isn't a flaw. It only becomes dangerous when entered with broken expectations and an unformed self. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Look well into your cell. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look." We're often taught that marriage is where we find happiness, but Stoicism teaches the opposite. It says, true happiness doesn't come from someone else. It comes from the discipline and clarity within. So if you're feeling lost in your marriage, don't rush to find someone else to fill the void. First, look inward, strengthen your core, reconnect with your purpose. Because a marriage built on emotional dependence is a house on sand. But one built between two whole, independent people, that's a fortress. A fortress that doesn't fall to time or temptation. Are you in a relationship or are you slowly disappearing inside it? You don't need to leave your marriage to find yourself, but you do need to leave the illusion. Marriage isn't a fairy tale. It's an agreement, a partnership, a living thing that must evolve, be nurtured, and be chosen daily. Romanticize it too much and you'll live in disappointment. So what do? Strengthen your mind, discipline your heart, practice negative visualization, imagine losing everything you emotionally depend on, so you realize that true freedom comes from letting go, not holding on. Seneca reminds us, if you live in harmony with nature, you will never be poor. But if you live by others' standards, you will never be rich. You don't need to be seen to have value. A woman who understands that is a fortress, unaffected by attention, praise, or abandonment. And finally, love through virtue, not fear. Don't love because you're afraid to be alone. Don't cling because you're afraid to be left behind. Love is freedom, not a sentence. Are you in love or just begging to exist in someone else's heart? Now ask yourself a simple question, one that could shift your entire life. Who really holds power over you? If the answer is anyone but yourself, then you've got work to do. There will always be predators, but weakness, that's a choice. And if you don't govern your emotions, someone else will. Stoicism doesn't ask you to change the world. It simply asks, are you strong enough not to be shaken by it? When you master yourself, you're no longer prey. You are the power. You are the fortress. You are free. If you felt seen in this message, don't stay silent. Hit subscribe and keep walking this path of inner strength with us. Share this video with a woman or a man who needs to hear this truth, and drop a comment. Are you living by your own design or by someone else's expectation?